Now, staying with Ace Magashule's expulsion from the ANC, I'm now joined by political analyst Professor André Duvenhage, joining me, of course, this morning. Thank you, André, for your time, and good morning to you. I want to hear your views with regards to what message you think the ANC is trying to send here with the expulsion of Ace Magashule. Some critics could say, listen, they could have left him as a member, just a member, card-carrying member of the ANC, but they were quite intentional here with expelling Ace, their former Secretary General.
Good morning to me and the listeners. Yes, I agree to a large extent with Susan's analysis. But maybe a qualification here and there. My take on Magashule is, and I'm following his career for the past about 30 years, also commenting on him in the media, is that he's always playing for options. And I think his option at the moment is lying with the ANC not commanding a strong support base, and the ANC that is relatively vulnerable at the moment. And I believe that he will definitely use the opportunities. Now, what is his opportunities? Basically, two general categories. He has court cases against him, which can turn ugly, and that may promote the idea for him to flee the country, to get out of politics. But I don't think that is the way. I'm rather seeing him continuing the political battles he was busy with. And he is not without support. Recently, I had a conversation with the leader of the opposition, DA in the Free State legislator, Dr. Roy Jenkelson, indicating to me that the Ace Magashule support base is about 50% within the Free State. Now, let's say he take that support, he is developing or creating his own party. I think that is an option. Or he may align with the EFF. And I think he can, in a way, contribute to the EFF. And my understanding is that the relationship between Ace Magashule and the leadership of the EFF is quite healthy at the moment. So there are limited options, but I agree that within the framework of the ANC, there's no future.
So, Prof, with that being said, if we're talking here of possibilities of a political party that either Ace may join or form himself, I mean, even when our own senior reporters, Pamantla Goke, tried to press him for answers during his last court appearance, he would not confirm nor deny, except to say that he has been approached by some people in terms of, a political party outside of the ANC. So if we're already having that conversation, are we saying that he may not appeal his expulsion? I mean, Ace has a history with the ANC. Are we saying that the mere fact that he did not respond within 7 days and giving reasons as to why he should not be expelled, that's an indication that he may, one, not appeal his expulsion, but also, two, possibly join a party or formulate his own?
I think his strategy there is to keep close to the ANC as long as possible. But I think at this point in time, he has reached the end of the road. I think an appeal will just buy some time for him to play his other games. I am seeing for him a political future outside the framework of the ANC. Definitely not within the ANC. But it's quite interesting. I have listened to an interview with Magashule saying that this is the end of the ANC. The ANC is not going to survive the 2024 elections. He continue on that line. So I think he is already planning alternatives. But I'm reading him closer to the EFF. And let's create a small scenario. Let's say the ANC, according to polls, is not performing that well. They're getting a low 40. Or a mid-40, and they need support to keep control of the country nationally and on provincial levels. Then they will need the support of parties like the IFP, maybe even the EFF. And under the leadership of Paul Mashatile, there's a close relationship between the ANC and the EFF. And if ACE is positioning it within the EFF, he may find him very close to the leadership yet again after the election. That is working with the proposition that the ANC will not obtain an absolute majority in the 2024 elections.
Prof, with that being said, do you think that Ace Magashule is a threat to the ANC, especially in the context of the 2024 general elections? We've heard of numerous, allegations around his close proximity with the radical economic transformation faction within the ANC. Could he potentially be a threat for the next upcoming elections?
I think the majority analysts will say no. My answer will be yes, if he plays his card according to a certain plan. And that plan will be that the ANC is vulnerable at the moment. They may achieve, may not achieve an absolute majority. So a small support base can make a big difference. But then, on the other side, the ANC is also in trouble. Ace Magashule is found guilty on basis of corruption and internal party discipline problems. But the fact of the matter is, if we look at the history of the ANC, if you go back to the arms deal, people like Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma were implicated. If you look at the Zondo Commission, people like David Mabuza, Gwedi Mantashe, and others were directly implicated. Pala implicated prima facie Ramaphosa. So the question is, what will happen to these people? ACE had a lot of information on these people. So this can still become a dangerous game in an environment where the ANC is not very strong, where for the first time since 1994, they can lose the election in terms of an absolute majority, and this made the ANC vulnerable to the extent that a relative small factor can make a big difference.
You took my next point right out of my mouth. I mean, I wanted to quote the ANC here saying that organizational discipline must be set from the top. And we've oftentimes, Prof, heard Ace Magashule stating that he feels that he was targeted in terms of the step-aside rule, saying there are many more within the organization, the ANC that should step aside if indeed he is also requested to do so. So then what is the ANC's integrity committee to do with this? Because as you've just rightfully mentioned, there's still many more members also implicated in state capture.
I am not seeing any consistency within the structures of the ANC dealing with corruption. I am absolutely sure that they made the right decision with regard to Magashule. But without implicating people like David Mabuza, we now have that crisis in Parliament concerning the Makwebane situation and the death of Tina Joemat Petersen. We have the investigations of the Zondo Commission implicating politicians directly. We have the André Duvenhage book implicating certain politicians directly. The leadership of the ANC are, generally speaking, very much implicated in corruption. I think the problem is too big for the ANC to deal with. Therefore, they hope to escape this by working selectively. And in that sense, Ace Magashule has become the target.
Professor André Duvenhage, thank you so much for your time. A political analyst, I'll leave it there with you. Thank you so much for adding your voice to this matter. This with regards to Ace Magashule, the suspended former Secretary General of the ANC, now expelled by the organization, saying organizational discipline needs to be set from the top. And of course, that was Prof. André Duvenhage giving us his perspective on this decision by the ruling party.